Hello everyone, it's Jeff here from the Systems Lab. Today I wanted to go over some of the updates that have been made to the TradingView Backtester Strategy Report because it's looking a bit different. Some of you might have noticed. And I thought, what better chart to do that on than something that looks amazing and totally realistic, like silver. So if you guys have been paying any attention, you might have noticed that silver has really gone for it. Gold's doing pretty well, but silver is really just kind of taken off. And it's the kind of thing that PRX was designed to capture, in all honesty. Now, we're actually testing some other systems on silver and some other stuff, but that's for another time. The purpose of this video is really to kind of go through these updates on the TradingView backtester, whilst also appreciating how nice this chart is here. So here's the big high-level differences. Normally, I would have this sort of down because I like to see the chart more, and it's a little bit annoying because I can't really see the equity curve so easily. I got to kind of make this halfway-ish before I can basically see, pretty much all of the equity curve. But what they've done here is they've brought us into metrics, and that makes this little page here really quite long, which we'll scroll through in a second. And then over here, we can flick it to the list of trades, like individual trades. You can see this quite large one here at the top. That's the open position that silver would be in right now, had you had that on with PRX on the daily chart here, like we've got set up. Now, like I said, there's not necessarily anything new here, but there is an awful lot of info and it's laid out quite nicely. So we've got our high level data here like we usually see at the top. We've got our equity curve where we can switch on the buy and hold comparison or not. You can see in this case, PRX on silver is outperforming silver itself by quite a long ways. One thing I should probably clarify is the way that I've configured this. So let me just show you the position sizing on this so that you understand what we're looking at. I've chosen the percent account notional value at 100%, and we're using no leverage. So we've set the leverage multiple to 1. And all of the standard PRX settings are the same. All we're messing with is the position sizing. So what this means is that whenever there is a signal, the entire equity in the account gets traded. So we start with 100,000 at the very top here. That's what we've got there, 100,000. And that's how we start. And then we trade with whatever equity is available in the account at the time. So that will compound if it's going well. And if it's not, then it will go the other way and then we'll be risking less. It's difficult to do an R multiple with this. So it's just slightly different mechanism. But it's pretty comparable when you do something like a buy and hold comparison. So here we can see we tracked pretty closely with silver here for a while, but then has these large drawdowns. And you can see that the drawdowns on PRX, even with the system configured as it is just south of 19%, whereas I know that silver's been through some 70% plus drawdowns over this time. Anyway, so we're comparing basically the buy and hold equity on this is 238,000, or basically percent would be about the same, versus 918,000 for PRX for the similar time frame. Okay, so we've got our usual stuff. I've talked about some of this before, but if you hover over these little areas here, you can see what those run-ups and drawdown data is, like how long it takes, and then also the extent of the drawdown. So 2.75% there. The biggest one might be, probably this one here, 17%. That 18% figure that we're seeing, maybe that came from right around here, and it's probably an intraday 18.73%. Okay, so let me just scroll through the rest of this for a moment because we've got some other charts down here. Many of them we've seen before that they've been introducing, but they're kind of interesting to have a peek at. So they've got this performance chart in area, and also note that you can actually collapse different sections here of the report. Now the performance area shows like total profit and then also total loss. It's also showing us the open profit, which is like this little section right here because of this massive winner that we've got running here at the moment. So total profit, total loss, commissions, and then what's left is your P&L, right? Also, we get some benchmarking with the buy and hold here in yellow. That's the 238% versus the actual strategy that we're running, which is over here, 382. I don't know why that is different. It's probably, I think, using closed equity only, so it's not using the open equity there. And as you can see, if we scroll back up here, you can see even before this monster trade that's on here, the system was already outperforming the benchmark. So, okay, let's just scroll down here. We've got our usual sort of metrics for like P&L and average loss and stuff. And then we've got some buy and hold metrics to compare it to. Then if we get down to the next section here, we've got the trades analysis, right? So this is like, where does each trade fit? Which bucket? This is like the R multiple distribution. So just to the left of 0, you can see that most of our trades are falling there, but there's small losses that sort of roll off. And then we've got some of these out here that extend out to that fat tail on the right-hand side, and that gives us some of these like 20% winners and 14% winners, but none of the losses are really bigger individually than, I can't remember the largest one, I think it was about 8% or so. Looks like, yeah, maybe 9, minus 9.11. Another mechanism here for just win-loss rate, and a bunch more details here. So average P&L, and this would be like a expectancy, which is about 2%. And average win, average loss ratios for that. You can see we're over 2, which is nice to see. So we're getting paid, 2.3 or 2. We'll call it 2.3 to 1 for every trade. And standard sort of metrics here. They've added some capital efficiency ones, so like CAGR and return on capital and that sort of thing. And then we've got some details on run-ups and drawdowns, which is just a little bit more detailed now than it used to be. So that's the bulk of it. A couple other things to point out, and maybe I should have done this earlier. You can actually maximize this panel, so you get this in a full screen view, and then you can see everything quite nicely. So I do like that aspect, and you can also sort of toggle on and off different areas. So if I didn't want to see that performance section, I can just kind of get rid of it. So yeah, there's a couple like nice little features in here, and it's just kind of worth paying attention to as you sort of do your own analysis with PRX. Also bear in mind, this is the area where you select the sort of backtest range. So it's going to pick the range in the chart by default, but you can also just change this and put it in the deep backtesting mode. So yeah, I think that's probably about all I wanted to cover. Obviously nice to see these nice trades going through. And if I just kind of zoom in on this, you can see that, we had a fairly nice re-entry here. In fact, let me just turn the report off momentarily. This was a nice trade in itself. And I remember looking at this before, and then the next one that entered just here, and it came very close to being stopped out. Looks like it didn't. Even if it did, we would have had a re-entry or a continuation entry, one of the two on that trade to get us back into the move we're seeing here. So anyway, nice to see these moves going, and hopefully that's a nice new update for the strategy report metrics. All right, guys, catch you in the next one.